You would agree with me that time is one of the most precious commodities because wasted time cannot be recycled or moved over into the next day, which is why a lot of people are out here trying to optimize their time, their energy. A lot of people want to be rich not only for the money, but so that they can afford time. They can have time in their hands to do the things they want to do when they want to do it. Which is why, of all the regrets that we have in life, one of the biggest and the most painful is the regret of lost time or wasted years. We all have experienced some kind of loss when it comes to time. Maybe for you, you've lost time or wasted years in a wrong relationship, wrong career path. Maybe you've lost time to either setbacks, failures, missed opportunities, unwise decisions, poor choices, maybe even bad habits. Now you're left wondering if you have missed your opportunity to live a life of significance, if you should even entertain the thought of getting back into the game. Well, I'm here to assure you that for all the lost time, for all the areas of your life that you have not been fully present, restoration is possible. And no, this is not just some empty motivational fluff. Lost time can be restored, but you do not have all the time in the world to do so. You may be asking, how is this possible if we cannot recycle wasted time? Well, in today's video, I'll be sharing with you 7 ways to get your life back and restore lost time or wasted years. And it's my prayer that by the end of this video, you are not only able to hope again, but you are able to get practical tips and tools to start off on your restoration journey. The first thing is that you're already one step in. The realization that you've lost some time, wasted some years, and you are seeking restoration is already a great step. So many people are stuck, lost, wasting their lives, heading down the wrong path, and they're not even aware of it. And without that awareness, there will be no reason for them to take steps in the right direction. You can never force somebody to change or to grow if they do not see the need to do so. On the other hand, are those who are aware, but they choose to be in denial, either because they think it's just too hard to get back on track, or it's just a waste of time to start all over again, or it's just too embarrassing to start all over again. And so they choose to stay there, mask everything and act like it's okay. But guess what? You're just wasting more of your time and the opportunity to live a life of significance. It really hurts my heart when I see someone put in a lot of time and energy to paint a picture that everything is okay, instead of using that time and energy to actually be okay. Whether that okay for you is mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, in the area of career, business, ministry, put in the time and effort to move things forward. External validation does not matter without internal fulfillment, and restoration is not something that will fall into your lap. You have a role to play. So if you've come to the realization that you've wasted time, you've lost some years, you've accepted it, and you're actively seeking ways to restore it, then you are a step in. In fact, you're a couple of steps in. The next thing is to focus on fruitfulness and not time in itself. A lot of people struggle with the idea that restoration of time is possible because their eyes are constantly on the clock. Here's the thing, when we talk about restoring lost time, it's more about restoring fruitfulness and less about restoring the ticking time on the clock. If you've lost 40 years of your life, restoration is really not about you getting 40 more years added to your lifespan. Not that it's impossible, but remember that what you've actually lost is a life of significance. It's the opportunities, a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, a sense of purpose. Those are the things you want to bring back into your life. So you want that the next day, month, year, you should live it in such a way that it makes sense. You want to live your next year in a way that hopefully you get double for your trouble, if I may say it that way. Do you easily remember the birthdays of great men and women and how long they lived? Probably not, right? But whenever their names are mentioned, you almost immediately remember what they did. Because what really matters is not how long they lived, but how well they lived their lives with the little time and abilities that they had. Recently, I was looking through the lives of some great men and women, be it those who made a big difference in their small communities or those who were on bigger platforms. And something I noticed was that there were a good number of them who did not live for too long or stay in the public eye for so long, yet their impact was felt. Please comment some of those names below if you know, because I'm interested in exploring more about such people. Now, am I saying that you should not aim for more years in service? No, that's not the point here. I share this to encourage you who is thinking, oh, I already wasted 30, 40, 50 years of my life. What would one more year do? 2 more years do? I want you to realize that 1 year is enough for you to make a big difference in your life, in the life of those around you. Jesus is a perfect example. He started his ministry at 30. By today's standard, he would be considered a late bloomer. And still, he did not take forever to complete his assignment, and he was gone. What really matters is diligence, making the most of every opportunity. Yes, you have just this much clarity, wisdom, knowledge, resources, money. You have just this little platform over here, these few connections over here. But how are you going to make it count? How are you going to live your next 1 year in a way that makes sense? One of the reasons why we are very careless with our time is that we underestimate the power or the value of 1 second. I had no clue how long 30 seconds were until I started working out. You'd be following this video and the coach will say 30 more seconds, and oh my goodness, it would feel like 30 more hours. That was when I realized how much can happen in 30 seconds. You have no clue how much growth or damage can happen in your life in a day. 1 year is enough for you to pour out so much love and receive love in return. 1 year is enough for you to start that investment, increase your income, learn a new skill. 1 year is enough for you to meet new people, make amazing friends and amazing connections. It's enough for you to break those bad habits and improve on your health. Never underestimate the power of a day. The only thing is you do not have an infinite amount of it. That's why I always say there is enough time, but you do not have a lot of it. So wake up, rise up, get back into the game, seize your life back by aiming for meaningful days. Of what use is many more years if it's going to be lived in misery? This next one is so important, and it was a game changer for me the first time I took it seriously, and it continues to be a game changer when I do it every month and every year. And this is for you to track your time. What stole your time in the past and what keeps stealing your time even now? A lot of us lose days, weeks, months, years, and we cannot even account for where all of that time went. Please do not get into the new year or step into the next phase of your life without identifying the things or behavioral patterns that are subtly stealing your time and energy. Is it fear of failure leading to inaction? Is it fear of rejection leading to lack of authenticity, people pleasing, trying to blend in, fit in, instead of boldly standing out and walking the path you've been called to follow? Is it the lack of clearly defined goals, making you a starter of many things and a finisher of none? Is it inconsistency? Is it laziness, lack of discipline? Is it chronic procrastination, which often stems from your perfectionist tendencies? Is it bitterness, unforgiveness, resentment? Yes, those ones too are big baggages. Are you keeping the wrong company? Negative and unmotivated people who are not interested in growth and will not allow anybody else around them grow. Tracking your time will not only help you find what is wrong, but it will just create a certain sense of awareness, which helps you to narrow down the solutions you should be seeking in the season. Now, in today's day and time, if you want to really restore your lost years, if you want to live a life of significance, if you want to truly add value to people, if you want people to be confident enough to invest their time and their money in you, then you have to identify and develop your skills. I've said it time and time again on this channel that God has given each and every one of us the ability to do certain things well, but it's our responsibility to identify, sharpen, and develop those skills for maximum impact. Some of those skills will come naturally and some are learned, but at the end of the day, we have to refine them, so that we can work smarter and not just harder. When I just started this channel, there were skills that came naturally to me and the ones that I had to learn. communication came natural to me, but there was a lot of developing and refining that had to happen, and it's still happening. And on the other hand, I had no clue. I knew very little about editing, all the technical stuff, but I knew that that was a skill I had to learn if I was going to survive on this platform. So, developing and sharpening your skills is a continuous thing. Just a few months ago, I felt like I got stuck in the middle of a project, not sure what was the next step. And then I stumbled on a 5-day workshop that aligned with what I was looking for. I signed up for it. And immediately after I signed up, I was like, what did you just do? You're a working mom, you're doing content, you're in a phase where you're trying to really integrate in your community. This is just too much. But I kept all those excuses aside. I pushed myself because I knew I needed to learn something new, and I needed to also develop the skill that I already have. I went through those 5 days, and those 5 days was a big investment because coming back, I was able to work smarter and not just harder. It's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay not to be excellent at what you do initially, but it's not okay to stay there when there are so many opportunities out there for you to improve and sharpen your skills. It's not humility to not know what you're good at, and it's unwise to not take advantage of what you are good at. However, don't just blindly invest in acquiring new skills, getting new certifications, achieving things that do not align with where you're going. So set clearly defined goals. Without clarity, you will drift from task to task, you'll be easily distracted, and you may spend your whole day focusing on low priority activities. I learned the hard way when I used to just have this long to-do list, and I would do my best to check off everything that was on that list. And then by the end of the day, even though I have covered like 80-90% of the things I said I was going to do, I still go to bed feeling somehow empty and not very satisfied, because the 20 or 10% that was left undone were my priority tasks or activities. But when I started defining specific goals for my month, maybe just one or two, really keeping it simple and zoning in, I realized that I was less distracted. It was very easy for me to set boundaries, know when to say yes and when to say no, and be okay with it. If you do not assign a task to your time, someone else or something else will. However, don't chase your dreams in a way that compromises your principles and your values, in a way that eliminates balance from your life. If you want to recover lost time, plan for the future, but focus on the present. Be in the moment. Don't be in such a rush to catch up on lost time that you create or you lay a foundation for another future regret that will happen, which will be the fact that you missed out on some experiences while chasing your dreams, while trying to catch up on lost time. But it's very possible to live a balanced life while still going all in on your dreams. The last but one is to surround yourself with the kind of people that make the vision in your womb leap for joy. And who are these type of people? These are the people who have already arrived where you want to go and are willing to pour into you, to give you guidance and direction and support, to help you avoid the mistakes that they made so that you can work smarter and not harder. These are also the people with whom you can sharpen one another, encourage, motivate one another, hold each other's hands, and continue on their journey. Not the type of people who magnify your self-doubt and sap your motivation to move forward. Unfortunately, we cannot always completely eliminate such people from our lives because we are called to live as a community. And to be honest with you, sometimes it takes this type of people to push you out of your comfort zone, to make you grow and become your own self. So what you can really do is set healthy boundaries, know where you place this type of people and how you're going to deal with them. But keep the people who encourage you close to you, because let me tell you, we all need encouragement, we all need motivation, we all need direction, we need guidance. Before you said yes to that call, there's somebody who had said yes to it and is way ahead of you, and they can guide you. Don't go solo. However, this has to be done with a lot of wisdom. At the beginning of any endeavor, we are always so excited. We want to just get everybody on board, everybody on our moving wagon, because we believe we're going in the same direction, we'll help one another, we'll support one another. And then it's not long before you find out that that's not the case. And sometimes it's not necessarily that the other person is a negative or toxic person. Sometimes it's just the wrong fit for where you are going. And so you're here expecting from somebody something that they cannot give you, or maybe they're not even aware that you expect them to play that role in your life. Another thing to note here is that the right kind of people will not fall like manna from heaven. This is not something that will just be placed in your lap. When you see people who are blessed with an amazing support system, it did not just happen, there was some investment that happened. Remember that you too have to be the kind of person that they want to surround themselves with. I pray that you find the wisdom to identify and surround yourself with the right kind of people in this season of restoration. And finally, change the negative stories you've been telling yourself and start believing that restoration of your time and wasted years is possible. What stories have you been telling yourself? Have you been your own worst enemy? I just did a video recently on how to stop being your own worst enemy. You see, no one can summon the courage to chase a dream that they don't first believe is achievable. You must have heard the saying that those who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are those who eventually do. So I also want to tell you that no matter how hopeless your situation looks like right now, you have to be crazy enough to believe that restoration is possible. So this is not the time to dwell in regret and self-pity. Crying over wasted years is just another time waster. This is the time to keep your hope alive. Summon the courage to take your life back. Remember that you cannot change the past, but you can change what you decide to do today. Also remember that the flower that blooms late is just as beautiful as the one that bloomed early. So if you stayed with me until the end, thank you so much. And a big thank you to all of you who tune in every week. Here we don't just talk about growth, but we challenge ourselves to experience that growth every day, but in a way that we do not compromise our principles and our values. So if that is something that resonates with you, then this is a safe space for you to hang out. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And please, as you exit, leave me a thumbs up and a comment to let me know what resonated with you the most about or in this video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next.